You've been breastfeeding for more than 6 weeks. Congratulations! Many people would say you have made it through the hardest parts of breastfeeding. Around this time, you may be preparing to return to work or school. Let's go over a few ways to ease this transition for you and your baby. This video will cover how to create a pumping schedule, how to introduce and offer a bottle to your baby, and how child care providers can support your breastfeeding goals. While you are separated from your baby, the goal is simply to remove as much milk as baby will need during your time apart. Let's walk through an example. Mary works from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is 9 hours. She drives half an hour each way to and from work, which adds another hour to her workday. This means she is away from her baby for 10 hours. Most babies need 1 to 1.5 ounces of breast milk per hour. How much breast milk should Mary leave with her child care provider? Since Mary will be away from her baby for 10 hours, she should plan to leave 10 to 15 ounces of breast milk with her child care provider. You may want to leave a little bit more milk with your child care provider for the first few days. You can always adjust this amount once you have a better idea of how much baby will drink. When you first start pumping, it is best to try to pump as often as baby eats. This often means pumping every 2 to 3 hours while you are separated from baby. After a couple of days, you may be able to spread your pumping sessions out a little bit more if you find that you are pumping more than you need. Generally, pumping sessions, when pumping both breasts at the same time, should take about 10 to 15 minutes. You may want to allow a few extra minutes for setup and cleanup. Developing a pumping routine can help milk flow more easily. For example, you may want to try pumping at the same time and in the same location every day, and/or doing similar activities each time you pump, like watching videos of your baby or sucking on a favorite candy. Massaging your breasts before pumping and hand expressing afterward can also help you remove more milk. You may notice that you can remove more milk in the mornings and less in the afternoons, which is normal. Let's go to Lynette, who did a great job of creating a pumping routine when she went back to work.
My second baby, I think it was a little more challenging because you gotta balance trying to tell people, hey, I have to go pump. So you gotta say this to your schedule. Okay, you're at work for a couple hours, you gotta go pump, store the milk, and then work a little more, then go pump. So it was once you get into the routine, I think maybe a week after doing it, I kind of got into the routine. Okay, I pump at this time, I store the milk, and make sure the daycare feeds them at this time, so we'll both be on the same track even though we're away from each other. So once you get that routine, I think it's a lot easier than people expect. You can't pump and work, it's gonna be difficult, but it's really not. Once you get your own routine for it, it's really not that bad.
It's a good idea to practice bottle feeding before leaving baby with your child care provider. You can start practicing as early as 3 to 4 weeks once breastfeeding is well established. Offer baby a bottle of pumped breast milk once a day or a couple of times per week leading up to when you will be separated. If your child care provider is a friend or family member, you may want to have them practice so that they and baby can start to get comfortable with the new routine. It is important to use paced bottle feeding methods to prevent overfeeding and give baby control at the bottle the same way they would have control at the breast. Paced bottle feeding also reduces the risk of choking by making sure baby isn't gulping milk too quickly. We will give you some information that you can share with your child care provider to help them understand how to pace bottle feedings for your baby. There are many ways that your child care provider can support your breastfeeding goals, including using paced bottle feeding, feeding your baby an appropriate amount for their age, feeding baby slowly to mimic breastfeeding, understanding breast milk storage and handling guidelines, offering pumped breast milk in small quantities to prevent waste, following your baby's hunger and fullness cues, stopping feeding when baby stops eating. It's normal to feel anxious or unsure about being separated from your baby, especially if this will be the first time you've been apart. Creating and practicing routines before you go back to work or school can help you make this big transition easier for you and your baby. The following questions can be a good place to start. Have I communicated my breastfeeding goals with my child care provider? How much milk do I need to leave with my childcare provider each day? Do my childcare provider and I each have what we need to safely store breast milk? What can I do to help myself and my baby adjust to our new routines?